Good morning. Back out where me and Dan detected last week, the wooded valley, but I've now been given a fresh permission in a pasture field to the immediate east. So this is the pasture field here, and it's interesting because I'm in the Weald in Kent, and formerly the sea used to penetrate inland to a point very close to here. I'll take you into the field, and the farmer also says that it was heavily manured in the past, and it's east facing, and so on the 1930s land use map it shows pasture, arable, rotated, so that was the land usage in the past. So I've just walked up this hedgerow here, and there's a point on the bend there. There's a slight dip in the field in actual fact just in front of me. I don't know if you can see it, but the footpath used to basically come through the hedge there, up from the road which is behind the hedge, and it ran across to a point basically where that stream and hedge runs through the field in the foreground, just down at the bottom there, and that's where the footpath used to run. So this is a view basically from a point about 5 miles in from what's called the Saxon Shoreway, which was a footpath that was instigated in the 80s and runs all the way round the coast of Kent from a point west of Rochester round to Hastings. And the point about incursions is that the mean sea level in the Saxon was actually lower than it is today, and I basically had to look at different charts to establish what was going on. So behind me you have a tributary that feeds the estuary, which silted up and changed its course in the 1200s when there were big storms. And we know from the Anglo-Saxon chronicles the Vikings landed at a point 5 miles south of here in the early 10th century, and I was questioning whether it was navigable to bring a boat to basically the point you see in the distance there in those times. And what appears to transpire is that after the major event of 8,000, 7,000, I think it was 7,000 years ago, where England got separated from France and the sea level was at its maximum, the sea level since has been falling, and in that period there have been obviously rises and falls in the sort of mean sea level, which follow roughly the changes in temperature. So you have a change in temperature, the ice cap melts, and obviously the sea level goes up. And what we have is in the Roman, it shows that sea level was maybe, at the highest point in the last 3,000 years, and then it basically started to fall during the Saxon. So it shows that temperatures were going down at the end of the Roman until they get to a point about 1000 AD when it bottoms out. So the sea level bottoms out, then it comes back up in the 1300s, which coincides with the early medieval warm period. And then after that we have a small dip in sea level, which coincides with what's called the mini ice age, centered around 1600. So there are various theories about the migration of Saxon people, the Jutes, the Angles and Saxons, which history was written in the 9th century, 8th, 9th century, and referred to a history that took place 400, 300, 500 years before it was written by the monks. Bede, namely, I can think of. But they're starting to call all this to question, and what I can see is that there's not a firm argument in favour of a rise in sea level in the 4th century. It does seem to be dropping, and what I can see is that also the Romans were big land reclaimers, so the fact that the sea level's gone down is a lot to do with land reclamation, which is digging dikes and ditches. And so that ties in nicely with the idea that the sea level was falling at the end of the Roman. So it was higher than it is today during the Roman, then it started to fall, and during the Saxon the mean sea level was lower than it is today. And the fact that William the Conqueror landed at Pevensey, which is now 2 miles inland, is more to do with coastal erosion than it is to do with mean sea level. And those facts need to be taken account of, but I just thought I'd discuss that because at some point in the past this would have been navigable, and I think the period we're talking is probably that period where the sea level reached a peak, because we're in a peak temperature phase of the interglacial. The last one was 120,000 years ago. So the sea would have come in here 7,000 years ago. It probably would have been tidal in the Roman, and during the Saxon it probably would have been a point about 3 or 4 miles south of here that was navigable by boat. So just explaining those few basic things just regarding sea level, because I find it interesting. The IPCC, who advise the government, don't look at small changes like that because the evidences are quite slight, but or let's say tenuous, because there are lots of different arguments, but they look at the mean global sea level, which is different to the local situation, which they say hasn't changed. So the global sea level, mean sea level, they say hasn't changed since the Roman until a point about 1880, when it's suddenly starting to rise rapidly. And that's the whole argument for global warming and the issue concerning that, and reparations that need to be made in connection with fortifying the sea defences. Right, I'm going to get on and I'll see you at the first hole. In fact, I think it could be a button after all that. I can see possibly where there was a shank, sadly, but might be wrong. I think that's a button. It's actually a horse brass. Sometimes you've got initials and things on these things. Can't immediately see anything like that. But anyway, yeah, bit of horse chandlery. So this was basically inundated by the sea just below this bank to the left and to the right. This would probably be in Roman times. It would just be on the water's edge. The farmer did say that when they've been digging dikes further out there in the estuary, a couple of metres down, you can see the rotting vegetation from when there were reeds. So this would have been covered with sort of black soil, he said, that shows that it was formerly reeds. So sort of tidal reeded area in the late Roman and early or mid-Saxon. Quite a nice sound, 1920, but saying it's shallow. I think it's going to be something modern given it's shallow. It's in the clod anyway. We shall see. Let's break the clod in. It's about 10 inches, 11 inches deep, that clod. See if it's in the lower half or the upper half. Oh, it's in the upper half. The weather stayed good, which is amazing. I had a long chat with the farmer and he's very kindly let me extend my permission into other areas, which is a really good thing because it means I can come back, because the day's just gone on and it's shot past. Another one of these. Don't know what the date is on that one. He did say there was a lot of muck spreading in conjunction with hop growing here in the past, so these might be connected to that. Who have we got? Oh yeah, it's the same as the other ones, early 19th century, sorry 20th century. See a fair distribution of these across the field. I think it says 1927 or something like that. Anyway, coin, that's good. Always promising to find coins. Right, got a 17. .324, quite a high number on the scale. It's a sock and great piece of lead, and it's got a piece of iron protruding. I don't know if that's the shank, but it's offset, as you see. It looks quite modern because the level of oxidation isn't terrific, or very thick. But if anyone knows what that is, let me know. Right, this one was about 16, about 5 inches down. Just to see it. It's a coin, I think, sticking out the sidewall. Oh, but it's toasted again. Whoops. What would that be? I'm not going to rub it. It does look fairly toasted, but I think that's another farthing. It's got, I don't know, thin writing like it's Victorian or might be Edwardian. Just give it a spray. Find a bit of light. Don't know if I can do that. Oh, here we are. Bit of light. Right, running out of water too, never mind. Can't quite see them on it, can we? Anyway, Victorian or Edwardian, I think it's a farthing. Light's starting to fade. I'm very lucky because basically the farmer came out and I chatted with him for about an hour, and it appears that he'll let me detect a whole load more fields on the other side of the valley behind me here, which will prove interesting, hopefully. Right, a roundup of what was found. 45 finds in total. On the left I've got the less interesting, 15 less interesting finds and 30 more interesting. I actually found 7 coins, which is pretty good going, possibly in connection to the manuring that the farmer mentioned. But these are George V and VI pennies, the larger ones. Got 2 Victoria farthings. I'll post those up and you'll see the one of them you'll be able to see the date on. I've got a parasol slider. Well, that's what I'm told these things are anyway. A Led Zeppelin, that's a toy. It's been damaged quite badly, but it's made of lead. R101, something like that. A spoon, a lead weight. It's got the hooks missing, but you can see the iron piece in the middle. 303 bullet. Might be able to get a date off that. A few buttons, including a tomback button, late 18th century tomback style. Plain buttons, button covers made of tin. Don't know the dates of those. These things, copper sheet with nails through them. There's that nail actually went through the end of one of those, so it was tacked onto something, I don't know what. Piece of lead, horse brass. Did I say that? Horse brass. These 2 things, they look like ball joints, but they're clearly not. It's got some sort of decoration on the end of it. There's a large one and a small one here somewhere. Our bullet. Well, there's the small one of those ball-shaped things. They screwed into something because there's the remains of a screw in the end of it, screwed piece. This one I couldn't make out. Could be a halfpenny, could be a Georgian halfpenny. Pretty shot. Did I say about the parasol slider? I think I did. A pistol ball. Made of lead. And then on the left, obviously, the usual bits of rubbish. We've got 2 mew tubes, which is unusual for my area. Don't generally find those. Tag from an animal, 3 shotties, some more bits of lead, and that's it really. Looking forward to detecting the other fields, because the farmer's now kindly opened up or allowed me to detect his other fields. So that's quite a large area, and it's to the immediate north of the field that these bits came from. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe, and it will keep you posted on, or you'll be then up to date with my latest videos. Thanks for watching, see you in a bit.